පිරුණු එවන් රජ්‍ය දහයින් සමුගෙන යනදා ඔබේ නුවන් පහනින් යලි එළිය පිරුණු එවන් රජ්‍ය දහයින් සමුගෙන යනදා
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you and welcome to the Peradeniya Medical Undergraduate Research Symposium 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise to the ceremonial procession as our chief guest, Dr. D.B. Nugegoda, keynote speaker, Professor Nuwan Vikramasinghe, Vice Chancellor of University of Peradeniya, Professor Terence Madhujit, Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, Professor Saman Nanakar, and the distinguished guest accompanied by the academic staff and the students of Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya, enter the premises. Thank you. You may take your seats.
A very good morning to all of you. We are indeed honored and delighted to welcome you all to the Peradeniya Medical Research Undergraduates Research Symposium 2026, organized by the Department of Community Medicine, Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya.
A very important day has once again dawned upon our faculty as we commence the newest edition of the symposium, carrying the hope of building a legacy that will continue for many years to come. Today marks not merely the beginning of a new symposium under the guidance of Department of Community Medicine, but the dawn of a new era in undergraduate research within our Faculty of Medicine.
PeMURS is a symposium that is made possible by the collaborative efforts of all facets of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya.
And thus, we hope that through these efforts, this flame of innovation and youth will be kept alive and unquenched for generations that are yet to arrive at this very place that we hold so dear.
So with that thought, let's proceed with the rest of today's program.
To honor our esteemed university, which has nurtured generations of scholars and contributed immensely to our academic and personal growth, I kindly invite everyone to rise again for the university anthem. We kindly request you to remain standing, as in keeping with the tradition, it is now time to light the traditional oil lamp.
Hence, we now cordially invite the following dignitaries to light the traditional oil lamp.
May I respectfully invite the Vice-Chancellor of University of Peradeniya, Professor Terence Madhujit, the Chief Guest, retired Professor Dr. D.B. Nugegoda, Keynote Speaker, Professor Nuwan Wickramasinghe, the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya, Professor Saman Nanayakara, Symposium Chairperson, PeMURS', Head of the Department of Community Medicine, Professor Samidhi Navaratna, Symposium Secretary, PeMURS', Dr. Lakshika Patirana, Symposium Treasurer, PeMURS', Dr. S. Krishna Pradeep, the Registrar and the Bursar of University of Peradeniya, representing the Department of Community Medicine, the Chair Professor, Professor Samat Dharmaratna, Chairperson, Faculty Research Committee, Professor Indika Gavarammana, President, Candy Society of Medicine, Dr. Ayodhya Senanayaka, President, Peradeniya Medical School Alumni Association, Professor Indu Nanayakara, the Chief Medical Officer of University Health Centre, Dr. Chandima Jaisinghe, and the Student Chairperson of PeMURS'26, Mr. Minura Kulasekara. We would also like to invite the Dean of the Faculty of Management, representing all the deans of the faculties. Thank you very much. You may now be seated.
Let us now witness the students of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya, invoke the divine blessings of this event with a spectacular puja dance. Thank you for that mesmerizing performance.
PeMURS was initiated by the staff and the students of Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya, in collaboration with the Department of Community Medicine, with the aim of fostering a vibrant research culture and inspiring students to further develop their knowledge and skills, passion for the scientific inquiry. Guided by the theme, From Curiosity to Clinical Impact, inspiring the next generation of researchers to innovators, healthcare leaders, PeMURS'26 stands as a platform where inquisitive thinking minds are transformed into future leaders, bridging the gap between scientific discovery and the meaningful improvements in patient care.
The Peradeniya Medical Faculty possesses a rich academic history and is the alma mater of countless fine clinicians and researchers. And with PeMURS, it is in the hope of our distinguished staff and our fellow students that we shall continue to produce impactful research into the distant future of our faculty and our nation.
We now invite Professor Samidhi Navaratna, the Symposium Chairperson of PeMURS'26, the Head of the Department of Community Medicine, to deliver the welcome address.
Our guest of honor, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Peradeniya, Professor Terence Madhujit. Our chief guest, Dr. D.B. Nugegoda, retired Professor of Community Medicine. Our keynote speaker, Professor Nuwan Wickramasinghe, Chair Professor of Community Medicine at Rajaratnam University of Sri Lanka. The Deputy Vice Chancellor of the University of Peradeniya, the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, Professor Saman Nanakkara, respected Deans of sister faculties of University of Peradeniya, the Bursar, the acting registrar, heads of departments, the president of Kandy Society of Medicine, Dr. Ayodhya Senanayaka, the president of the Peradeniya Medical School Alumni Association, Professor Indu Nanakkara, distinguished retired academic staff members of the Department of Community Medicine, esteemed academic, administrative, and non-academic staff members of our faculty, pre-intern doctors, and most importantly, our students of 2021 batch and 21-22 batch. Good morning to all of you. On behalf of the organizing committee and the Department of Community Medicine, it is my privilege to welcome you to the inaugural Peradeniya Medical Undergraduate Research Symposium, PeMURS'26. This landmark event represents the grand culmination of a rigorous research journey for our 2020-21 batch of medical students, a transformative process that began in August 2023. We are deeply grateful to our guest of honor, Vice Chancellor Professor Terence Madhujit. Sir, thank you for gracing this inauguration despite your exceptionally demanding schedule today, where you presiding over the convocation of the Center of Distance and Continuing Education. Your choice to carve out time for our medical undergraduates research symposium underscores your unwavering support for our university's research culture. We extend an equally warm welcome to our Deputy Vice Chancellor, the Dean of our faculty, Professor Saman Nanakkara, the Bursar, and the acting registrar in absentia. We deeply appreciate their presence today despite their heavy schedules. Today is a proud celebration of legacy as we welcome back two illustrious alumni who have made monumental contributions to community medicine in Sri Lanka. Please join me in welcoming our chief guest, Dr. D.B. Nugegoda. Sir, your pioneering legacy and decades of dedication continue to shape our department's vision, no doubt. Joining him is our keynote speaker, Professor Nuwan Wickramasinghe, a world-renowned researcher and chair professor at Rajaratnam University Community Medicine Department. Having you both returned to inspire this next generation of medical students demonstrates the enduring medical lineage of Peradeniya. We extend warm regards to the heads of departments and to Dr. Ayodhya Senanayaka, President of the Kandy Society of Medicine, and we express our deep appreciation for the prestigious annual award they grant for this event. And an equally warm welcome to Professor Indu Nanakkara, President of the Peradeniya Medical School Alumni Association. We are very happy that you all made time to be with us today. A very special welcome goes to the retired and current academic and non-academic staff members who grace this occasion, and our department members who worked tirelessly for this event, the academic staff members as well as the non-academic members. So our department takes immense pride in its role in shaping the research of the students and the faculty, and today we stand firmly on the foundations we have laid down. So an event of this magnitude is a vast collaborative effort. My sincere thanks go to our Dean, whose unparalleled commitment towards this event is praiseworthy. Sir, thank you very much for your time and all the efforts. I gratefully acknowledge the contributions of the current staff of the Department of Community Medicine, the Secretary and Treasurer of PeMURS'26, the supervisors, the abstract reviewers, and the judges. So our heartfelt gratitude also goes to the pre-intern doctors and all the non-academic staff members, including the Senior Assistant Registrar and Deputy Bursar. And the contributions from the head and the staff of the Technical Resource Center and the e-library. Furthermore, I am exceptionally proud of our student organizing committee by uniquely bringing together student representatives from all medical bachelors to plan this event from the ground up alongside our staff. These students have actually gained invaluable multifaceted experience in leadership and professional excellence. So to our student presenters and all the students from the 2021 batch, so this is your stage, and from your first research questions to the complexities of data analysis, ethical clearance, late night report writing, and your Viva Voce examination, you have shown remarkable resilience. So today, your hard work transforms you from consumers to medical knowledge into creators of it. So approach today as a celebration of your scientific curiosity. So let this symposium serve as the launching pad for your future careers as clinical scientists and as professionals who do not just accept the status quo, but constantly ask why and how we can make it better. Once again, a warm welcome to PeMURS'26. I wish you all an inspiring, intellectually stimulating, and highly successful symposium. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam.
A figure who has long stood at the head of these esteemed grounds of learning. We would like to cordially invite the Vice Chancellor of the University of Peradeniya, Professor Terence Madhujit, to address the gathering.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The chief guest today, Dr. Nugegoda, former Professor of Community Medicine from University of Peradeniya, the Dean Medicine, Professor Samanna Nayakkara, the keynote speaker, Professor Nuwan Wickramasinghe from Rajaratna University, again one of our proud products, Professor Samidhi Navaratna, the chairperson of the PeMURS'26 organizing committee, Dean of Faculty of, Acting Dean of Faculty of Management, Dean of Faculty of Allied Health Sciences, all other academic colleagues from Faculty of Medicine and other faculties, most importantly the students, ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Medical Officer. So first of all, thank you, President Anakar and President Navaratna, for inviting me today to grace this occasion. In fact, I'm on pins right now, as President Navaratna correctly mentioned. I had to be at Polgolla to attend the convocation of external graduates by 8:30. It's sharp 8:27 now. So I wish I had access to night rider car outside of the building. Well, having understanding the importance of both events, I decided to at least come here for 5 minutes for a short period. Now, ladies and gentlemen, research, why research is important? Well, understanding the importance of research in all curricula, I'm proud to tell you that all faculties, all 9 faculties have embedded the research component into their curricula, understanding the importance of research. Research is not just limited to laboratories or in the clinical setting, but research is extremely important for our life. Now, compared to all other courses that you have been following, research where you are trained to be more independent because it is less structured compared to the other taught courses in the clinical setting or in the classroom, all in the laboratories, where you make your independent decisions, formulation of research proposals, developing research concepts, research questions, and developing hypotheses, choosing the right method. There may be many methods, but narrowing down them, and interpretation of results, statistical analysis, presenting them in a concise manner, writing abstracts, journal articles, a lot of things that you need to learn, where even budgeting your time is important. Budgeting resources. In Sri Lanka, we don't have ample resources, so choosing the you have to be resourceful as well, because we are a resource limited country. So you have to choose the resources wisely, because otherwise the resources would have been used elsewhere for another purpose. So research is nothing but inquisitive mind, and you might wonder, most of you would be practicing clinicians in the years to come. So why do we need to do research? Well, wherever you go, whatever the profession you would be in, whatever you would be doing, research is important. It's nothing but the inquisitive mind, exploration, innovativeness, thinking out of the box. The very famous example in medicine way back in 1928 in St. Mary's Hospital, London, Sir Fleming discovered the penicillin in 1928. But to make it as a practical antibiotic, it took another few decades, at least 1 decade. By 1940 only, it became a commercializable product. During that period, discovery is very famous, but what happened afterward is not that famous. So that the penicillium species that he used was low yielding, and it was again an accident how they discovered the better yielding penicillium species. That was done by assistant. It was a total serendipity. She brought a fruit similar to watermelon, cantaloupe, and cantaloupe had been contaminated with the penicillium species. Then they found that that species is far more capable of producing yielding penicillin 1,000 times higher than the original penicillin. And extraction, purification, a lot of work. So all these are our research. And in medicine, many innovations, discoveries and inventions like imaging. Now, all clinicians are using imaging to precisely see what is happening in the body, and that improves the prognosis, diagnosis. And so many new dimensions in molecular medicine, cell therapy. Now, cell therapy is already in use in some countries like United States. When you get out of the airport, you see the large advertisements where you can find cell therapies and genetic therapies, gene editing using CRISPR gene. Wonders it will, and AI, not artificial insemination, but artificial intelligence, that will definitely revolutionize the world. It has already started. So its medicine is of no exception. Therefore, this learning is a lifelong process, and it never ends at MD. So MBBS. So that you need to maintain this vigor. So without much ado, let me congratulate all the senior authors, junior authors. Before that, I want to mention a couple of words, despite the fact that I am pressed for time. The Sri Lanka is facing a lot of challenges, ladies and gentlemen. We need more focus on geriatrics, because our population is aging, and non-communicable diseases in the world. 74% of deaths are due to NCDs, including road accidents. Nearly 8 to 9 road accidents every day in Sri Lanka. And we thought that until 2019 that we have successfully controlled all vaccine preventable diseases, which was not the case. And we had to face COVID-19 global pandemic. And at the very beginning, epidemiological predictions were that until 75% of the world receives herd immunity or induced immunity, the condition spreads. Exactly this is what happened. And thanks to mRNA vaccine producing technology, the world was able to curtail the disease at the earliest possibility, at least within 3 years. So it's all because of research, ladies and gentlemen. So wherever you go, whatever you do, please keep in mind this higher learning seat, University of Peradeniya, has a very rich legacy in research. Faculty of Medicine, the second medical college in this country, has produced enormous capable graduates who are serving in this country and also elsewhere. So let me congratulate all the senior authors, junior authors, and don't try to shelf your study, but make sure that it goes beyond this classroom. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful words. Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to a significant milestone of today's symposium, the official launch of the Book of Abstract of PeMURS'26.
To commence, I would like to respectfully invite Professor Terence Madhujit, Vice Chancellor of the University of Peradeniya, Professor Saman Nanayakara, Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya, and Chairperson of the Symposium, Professor Samidhi Navaratna, Head of the Department of Community Medicine, to present the copies of PeMURS' 2026 Book of Abstracts to our distinguished guests.
This publication represents the collective efforts, dedication, and scientific inquiry of 2021 batch of undergraduate researchers. May this publication not only showcase the remarkable research efforts of our students, but also inspire a culture of inquiry, innovation, and academic excellence within our faculty for many years to come.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride and pleasure we declare that the Book of Abstracts for PeMURS 2026 is officially launched.
We are pleased to inform you that the electronic copies of the Book of Abstracts are now available. The QR codes displayed on the screen provide direct access to the e-version of the publication.
Thank you, sirs. Thank you, madam.
A guiding pillar to aid our every step. It's now our great honor to invite Professor Saman Nanayakara, the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya, to address the gathering.
Good morning, everybody. Students, please come and sit in the front. Yeah. There are many vacant seats and students are standing outside. So please ask them to come and sit. Chairs are largely for students. And good morning, everybody. Today is a very busy day in the university. We have the convocation of the CDCE. More than, I think, 2,000 degrees to be awarded. Convocation is held in 3 sessions in Polgol auditorium. So that's why many deans and the registrars they are not here. And for some reason, clapping has become a dying tradition. The Vice Chancellor delivered the speech, the clapping was not, So whether the speech is good or not, you should clap. At your stage, we had a lot of fun in clapping, and we thought it was our duty to clap also, over and above the elderly and the middle-aged people. So we used to clap loud. And okay, you can clap softly for me, but at least for others. Okay. So good morning, everybody, again, and Chief Guest Dr. Nugegoda, and the keynote speaker, Professor Nuwan Darshana Wickramasinghe, Chairperson of the Symposium, and Head of the Department of Community Medicine, Professor Samidhi Navaratna, Deans of Faculties, Heads of Departments, and Professors and academic staff members, Deputy Bursar of the Faculty, Chief Medical Officer, Assistant Librarian, Presidents of KSM and PEMSA, and Provincial Director of Health Services, Dr. Wickramasinghe, and then student chair and secretary treasurer of the organizing committee, and my dear students. So it gives me, obviously, immense pleasure as the Dean of the Faculty to address you this morning at the Peradeniya Medical Undergraduate Research Symposium 2026. Over the years, research activities among our undergraduate students have continued to flourish, reflecting the faculty's strong commitment to academic excellence, critical thinking, and scientific inquiry. PeMURS has become an important platform which earlier held in a different name that nurtures these qualities and encourages our students to engage meaningfully in research and innovation. Research remains an integral pillar of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya, and I'm delighted to witness the growing enthusiasm and dedication of our undergraduates towards scholarly activities. The incorporation of research into the undergraduate curriculum has greatly strengthened this culture, inspiring students to explore emerging scientific challenges, contribute new knowledge, and develop solutions that benefit society and healthcare. And it's heartwarming to see some of the students who conducted the research sessions a couple of years back. They are seated now as staff members, working with us as staff members now. So PeMURS 2026 provides a valuable opportunity for students and academics to come together to present their work, exchange ideas, and foster collaborations. It is particularly encouraging to see our students showcasing their findings and engaging in scientific dialogue that will shape the future of medicine and healthcare in Sri Lanka. We are truly honored to have Dr. D.B. Nugegoda, one of our former teachers in community medicine, gracing this year's symposium as our chief guest. I talked to him, and obviously he cannot remember all of us, and we can still remember some of the lectures you delivered in the East and West lecture halls. That era you didn't have high-tech or modern audio-visual facilities or AI, and even computers were not were hardly used those days. Early 90s I'm talking about. That shows how old I am. And it was largely talking and walking among students, and I still remember how eloquent you were and your enthusiasm you showed as a teacher. And we are also honored to have Professor Nuwan Darshana Wickramasinghe, one of our alumni, as our keynote speaker. Chair Professor of Community Medicine in Rajarata University. Thank you very much, Professor Wickramasinghe, for finding time to spend with us this morning. We are also privileged to receive the continued encouragement and support of our higher authorities, especially the Vice Chancellor, Professor Madhujit, who just left, who himself is a prolific researcher, whose unwavering commitment to research and academic advancement continues to strengthen the culture of scholarship scholarship within our university. I firmly believe that events such as PeMURS not only celebrate the academic achievements of our students, but also cultivate a spirit of inquiry and lifelong learning. These experiences empower our future medical professionals to approach healthcare challenges with curiosity, compassion, and scientific integrity. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the head of the department, Professor Samidhi Navaratna, and the other members of the academic and non-academic staff of Department of Community Medicine for conducting the learning module on research and conducting examinations, and finally having a research symposium where all students, at least all groups, have to present. I thank the staff and students of the organizing committee of PeMURS for their commitment in organizing this event. Over the past few weeks, I saw how they were getting organized themselves to make this a success. So I wish the Peradeniya Medical Undergraduate Research Symposium 2026 every success, and extend my heartfelt congratulations to all participants, organizers, and supporters who have contributed towards making this event a reality. So I expect all students to be inside the halls, wherever you are going to be, and follow the program during the whole day. So you should not be waiting to listen to your research group's research, but you should be following what others have done. What are the questions that are going to be asked? How are they presenting? Have they done anything different from you? So please be inside the lecture halls, otherwise this whole exercise is not going to be useful. So please follow the work. Your academic staff members have done a lot of work to have this session in this manner. So please make sure you get the maximum out of it. Thank you very much. Let's see how you are going to clap. Well, even that is not enough. Huh? This is what AI has done.
Thank you very much, sir, for your continuous support in all our endeavors.
It is our pleasure to now invite Professor Sampath Tennakon from the Department of Community Medicine to introduce our chief guest for PeMURS 2026.
Distinguished guests, faculty members, and student researchers. It is an immense honor to introduce our chief guest for today's Medical Student Research Symposium, Dr. D.B. Nugegoda. Dr. Nugegoda is an eminent public health specialist, a brilliant academic, and a former professor and head of the Department of Community Medicine and the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya. An alumnus of Trinity College, Kandy, Dr. Nugegoda began his lifelong medical journey at the University of Peradeniya as a medical student in 1964. He earned his MBBS in 1969 and completed his internship at the General Hospital, Kandy. He then dedicated 5 years of service to the Ministry of Health, Sri Lanka, serving at the base hospital, Matale, and Lady Ridgeby Hospital. In 1974, Professor Nugegoda returned to his alma mater as a junior academic. This marked the beginning of an illustrious 34-year long career of uninterrupted service to the Department of Community Medicine until his retirement in 2008. During this time, he traveled to the United Kingdom to complete his postgraduate education in London. Upon his return, he channeled his expertise into mentoring the next generation of public health leaders, supervising numerous MScs and MD candidates in community medicine, and teaching and training medical undergraduates. He was a teacher who was popular among medical undergraduates. Dr. Nugegoda's contributions to medical literature are extensive. He has published widely in both national and international peer-reviewed journals, presented at global conferences, and authored several books. Beyond his academic writing, his practical leadership was instrumental in sustaining the Hindagala Health Project, a vital MOH area attached to the university. As head of the department for over 12 years, Dr. Nugegoda was a pillar of strength. He fostered an environment of equality, treating academic and non-academic staff alike with utmost dignity and mutual respect. He was a tireless champion for junior faculty, selflessly guiding many young lecturers into accomplished senior academics. His visionary leadership extended beyond Peradeniya, as he served as a pioneer academic in developing the Department of Community Medicine at the Rajarata University of Sri Lanka. True to his characteristic humility, Dr. Nugegoda requested a brief introduction today. Yet, his profound legacy as an educator, researcher, and mentor speaks volumes, recognizing which the College of Community Physicians of Sri Lanka made him a fellow back in the day. Today, he enjoys a content family life with his wife and 3 successful children, while continuing to quietly contribute to the health of the community. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a distinguished son of Peradeniya, a compassionate mentor, and an exemplar of scientific excellence, Dr. D.B. Nugegoda.
Keep on it.
I visited the faculty. That is. Huh? Okay, okay. Yeah, I visited the faculty 8th of February last year, because I was invited by the non-academic staff of this faculty to give a lecture on grounding. What is grounding? Now, ancient man lived connected to the earth, walked barefoot on earth, slept on earth, and made use of the abundant source of free electrons coming from the earth. Now, and he was free of non-communicable diseases. He didn't have modern diseases. From bed we get to slippers, slippers to shoes, we go out, come back, slippers and bed. No connection to the earth at all, right? So we are spending millions of dollars to find out answers, how to overcome various non-communicable diseases
and other elements, ignoring that the solution lies just under our feet. In the 1990s, Mr. Clint Ober, an engineer by profession, found out that most of the diseases faced by man today could be overcome by re-establishing the connection with the earth. Now, once you connect yourself to the earth, your brain waves change from the beta, the fight or flight, to the alpha, calming waves, right? Rest and digest mode. So the sympathetic drive goes to the parasympathetic drive. Then there's heart rate variability. Moment you touch the earth, your heart rate, there's heart rate variability. There's vasodilatation because the sympathetic drive is reduced. And again, thinning of blood. This is a natural thinner of blood because when the electrons come and get into your body, it goes to the surface of the red cells, and the red cells get negatively charged. So no two red cells can stick together. They are thrown apart. So otherwise there's ruler formation in the blood, and it's very thick. So that is very important. So it's a natural thinner. Dr. Steven Sinatra, cardiologist, says the blood which was like tomato ketchup becomes like red wine. Now, then also the alpha waves improve sleep. This is very important for your health, the adequate amount of sleep. Then the free electrons which surge through your body act as antioxidants and anti-inflammatory. Then also, when we work in these environments, today's man is exposed to alternative current. So there's a buildup of voltage in the body. The normal voltage in the body should be 0.07. But now in one experiment, they took 12 people who were exposed to this type of environment, and their body voltage was 3.27, right? The moment they grounded, it fell to this level. So if I take a voltmeter and go around checking your voltage, I am sure all will have a high voltage. So because of this, you have insomnia because of the high voltage. Then irritability, right? Mood changes, lack of concentration. Now, there was Mr. Rajuddin, who was in our department. His daughter is in Colombo. She's working like in this type of environment, 35 years. And she had a headache and insomnia for 2 years. She tried various forms of treatment, nothing answered. Then she used to walk on the beach with shoes on. But having seen my video, she started walking barefoot. Within few days, the headache was gone and the insomnia was settled. She said, "Sir, you gave me a new life." Now, when I gave the lecture last year, February 8th, there was a 47-year-old female lady laboratory technical officer. She was suffering from central obesity. She was taking treatment for fatty liver disease, and she had varicose veins in her right leg. Varicose veins, 22 years since the birth of her daughter. Then she said that immediately she started sleeping on the grounding plate, she got a very good night's sleep. And within 2 months, central obesity was gone, fatty liver disease gone, varicose veins gone, right? Then she thought, now I can stop grounding, and she stopped grounding, and again the central obesity started coming, and again now she's using grounding. Now why do you get the reduction in your waist size, because in your stomach, I don't know whether ghrelin hormone is produced, which goes and stimulates the brain, the appetite center, and which make you eat more. More you break rest and sleep, more you eat, right? So when you sleep, adequate sleep, ghrelin production is lowered. That's why I say sleep less, weigh more, sleep more, weigh less. So I will call it internal dieting. Normal dieting, you are looking at food and you are struggling to avoid the food. But here, you can't eat, right? Among my cases, 34 people said that without dieting or exercise, there was a reduction in the waistline. Then there was a boutique keeper near my house. He is a 60-year-old man, and he had a huge tummy. His actually waist should be 33 inches, but his was 40. So when I went met him, he said, "Doctor, mata me bada adu karaganda behetak denna kiyala." Harida. Epara man kiwwa he's in the boutique from about 9 till 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. I told him, මිදුලේ මේ පුටුවක් තියලා පස් ටිකක් යන්තම් උඩ පස් බුරුල් කරලා ලුණු වතුර ටිකක් අරන් දාලා උතන මේ කකුල් දෙක තියා ඉන්න කියලා. මිනිත්තු 45ක් පැයක්. 10 days later he says, now my waist has reduced to 38. Right? I think most of you, some of you might benefit that. So I call it chair grounding, where you just keep the chair and loosen the topsoil and keep the feet on the earth. Right? That's all. Anitaka, he said, sir, then mage inakettu na vitaranne mata honda ninda yanawa mata wenada wage kanda bෑ දැන්. You see? That ghrelin production is reduced. Then during my lecture on the 8th of February, one of the slides I presented was, is the sea beach our pharmacy? Because when I went to Gulf Fort, I met a 53-year-old Catholic sister. She was diabetic. She was 15 years she was diabetic. And she was taking 30 units of insulin twice a day. And she had no sleep. She was obese also. So I asked her to go to the beach. There's a small area of the beach there. You can't walk. I said to embed the feet in the wet sea sand and stay for half an hour to 45 minutes. She started doing that. And gradually the insulin requirement was going down, and 2 weeks, mind you, she stopped insulin, right? And only on oral glycemics. And she said that from day one she's getting a good night's sleep, and also her reduction in the waist size. Now, accompanying her, there were another 2 sisters. One was a 70-year-old sister. She had an eczematous rash, both legs, below knees, for 3 years. She had tried various treatments, but nothing had answered. So she also went to the beach like this. And 2 weeks' time, that also was gone, right? Then 75-year-old sister, she had breathing problems for many years. And she used to go down to Colombo for treatment occasionally. But after 2 weeks, that also was resolved. Now, the most interesting thing is, I have 6 patients with Parkinson's disease, and all showed reversal of their symptoms. A 70-year-old retired schoolmaster diagnosed Parkinson's disease in 2020, And he had all the problems, drooling of saliva, urinary incontinence, then tremors, tending to fall forwards, and all the problems are there. And also no sleep. Now, this is important. Hardly any sleep, right? Then he started using this plate in December 2024. That is 4 years later, right? The first day he says that he got a very good night's sleep after a long duration of time. Then in 2 weeks' time, the drooling of saliva, the urinary incontinence, and the tendency to fall forwards all vanished. And mind you, he couldn't even wear his trousers because of the tremors of the left side of the body and the weakness. Now he's driving the car. So now, when I checked in the internet, latest thing they have developed for Parkinson's is deep brain stimulation. They insert electrodes into the brain, and with a battery current, they stimulate the brain. So here is under your feet, you get this solution, right? We are overlooking that. Then also, they say that you need 8 hours sleep, and then during the sleep, you get, if you get a good night's sleep, you get 1.5 to 2 hours of deep sleep. Now that is the time where the dopamine is produced. So now these 6 patients are producing their own dopamine. Of course, they are continuing to take the treatment, prescribed treatment, right? Then a 64-year-old person with Parkinson's, he thought he'll stop grounding for 1 week. He did stop, and all the symptoms started reappearing. So again, immediately now he's back to grounding. Now, there are 3 subjects in my case studies who are wearing smartwatches day and night. Now, one person, his smartwatch, before grounding, his deep sleep was about half an hour. And the feedback from the watch was that it was insufficient. Since grounding, he is getting 1.5 to 2 hours sleep, and the watch says you are getting your deep sleep requirement. Then depression is also due to lack of dopamine. When I first started in 2022, one of my subjects was a retired banker. She was 61 years, and she was suffering from depression for 20 years on treatment, but still the problem was there. Then she started grounding, and in 6 months' time, she overcame the ground problem, and she stopped her treatment on her own. And the 2 children said that we have got a new mother now. Because up to that time, she was always arguing, quarreling with the son and daughter, right? Then also during deep sleep, you get consolidation of memory. So students try to get your sleep without breaking rest, and because the short-term memory to long-term memory is done during deep sleep, right? So you keeping up late in night is no use. Then also the lymphatic system in the brain become active during deep sleep, and all the impurities which are produced in the brain during working hours are flushed out during deep sleep. So it protects Alzheimer's and dementia. A 73-year-old relation of mine was suffering from dementia for 4 years. He started grounding, and he got his memory back. Then also the repair and rejuvenation of all organs in the body happens during deep sleep. 63 of my subjects said they feel refreshed and more energized after sleeping, grounding than before when they get up. 187 of the 325 reported of improved sleep. A 62-year-old female, for 15 years she didn't have proper sleep, right? The day, actually she came to my place and I made a kit and she took it. The very next day she said that after 15 years I got a very good night's sleep. Similarly, another 74-year-old male, 10 years problem was solved in one day. A Buddhist priest, I think he's a retired professor, he also had this problem and he said, "Mekanam mata deyyo dunna deyak." Because then another 50-year-old lady said, "දැන් මට මැරුණා වගේ නින්ද යනවා." Then 3 people who were on sleeping tablets gave up the sleeping tablet. Now they got their sleep. Dr. Lou Key and his team, reporting in the American Journal, Heart Association's journal Circulation, says that getting 7 to 8 hours night sleep is more important than diet and exercise. 7 to 8 hours sleep is more important than diet and exercise. Some people go to the gym and come, break, rest, and they come very late in the night after the gym, but it's not of use, try to get you asleep. Actually, this was published in that journal after studying 408,802 people, 37 to 73 years, following up for 10 years. So you can't take it lightly. Then among my cases, 18 said a better control of high blood pressure, 25 better control of diabetes, then 80, now inflammation. Now most of our illnesses are due to inflammation, joint pains, all these things, right? So 86 people overcame their joint pains and backaches and various things. One backache for over 20 years was resolved, right? Then I have 3 cases with cervical spondylosis in their 80s. They improved so much that 2 people even gave up their cervical collar which they had been wearing for about 20 years. Then also chikungunya, 6 patients. Within days they recovered from all their problems, right? Then overcome numbness of feet and legs. Now 24, right? Now, so we pump them with B12, right? Now actually what has happened is, in the nerves, there's a blood vessel, vasa nervorum, tiny blood vessels. Those are not functioning properly, right? They are not open. So therefore the blood, actually the nerves are crying for oxygen and glucose. Even if you immerse them in a tub of B12, nothing will happen. But with grounding, these 24 overcame that. Then 6 sciatica patients who had been suffering for many years resolved. Then Reverend Olande Ananda, he's a Buddhist priest, very fluent in Sinhalese. He had for 10 years the soles of his feet, he couldn't feel numbness. So I went and fixed this kit. In 10 days' time, he said, now I have got my sensations. Then wound healing, 15. Among them, most of them were diabetics with, they would have ended up with amputations, right? 80-year-old diabetic with 22 20-year-old ulcer, right? Resolved. And also the children are saying now he is looking much younger for his age. Then 15 said they look younger, right? All females. So you get a free, they say every time you do a session of grounding, you get a free facial. How much is a facial now? Somebody? No, actually the reason is this. The blood is thin, the vessels are open. So in a facial also you try to get the blood supply to improve. So that happens here. Not only the face, the entire skin of the entire body is revamped, right? Then two with enlarged prostate who had difficulty in passing urine, after grounding, now they can pass urine with ease. Why? Again, inflammation. The prostates are enlarged due to inflammation. Vertigo, 3, who had vertigo, they overcome that. One was for 72-year-old lady, for 5 years she used to get attacks of vertigo once a month. But after grounding, that was all gone. Then 13 had cramps, night cramps, that was gone. Sinusitis for 6 years, that was gone. Then also, there was a lady, a 50-year-old female told me, "Sir, your video was a turning point to our family. I overcame the premenopausal," she's 50 years, "aches and pains, neck pains, right hand finger joint pain, and sciatica. I used to get up around 2 a.m. with abdominal colics if I had bread or anything made from wheat flour for dinner. That was gone." This is like magic, right? Also, I had constipation for 6 months, that is also gone. So all these problems disappeared within days of grounding. Within days of grounding. My 23-year-old daughter suffered from period pains for 5 years. She felt faintish, had nausea and vomiting, which lasted for 3 days, and she was mostly bedridden. After starting grounding, the first period which came, it was much less. Second period onwards, completely resolved. Then, my 53-year-old husband was suffering from right shoulder pain after COVID vaccination given in 2021. After grounding in September 2025, that was gone. Also, he was suffering from wheezing on and off for 30 years. That too was resolved. Now, what about prevention of cancer? Now, actually the mitochondria, we have about 1,000 to 2,000 mitochondria in each cell. Now, that is any injury or harm to the mitochondria can initiate cancers. Now, grounding promotes the health of mitochondria. Then another important thing which happens with grounding is the body becomes alkaline, right? Nobel laureate Dr. Otto Warburg says, "Cancers are merely a symptom of acidosis, and therefore it is impossible to truly cure any cancer without first curing the underlying acidosis in the body." So now grounding looks after that. He also says, high levels of oxygen that are found in healthy alkaline bodies are toxic to cancers, right? So grounding, there's more alkalinity of the body is high and there's more oxygen. Now, I have a 83-year-old female. The son used to take her for a walk in the walking track near the parliament. When she reaches about the 250-meter mark, she says, tired, I want to go back. After grounding, even going 500 meters, she doesn't complain of that. Then also 2 people who are doing manual work say that they can do much heavier loads and also more work, and they don't feel tired. Then another important thing is, when the alkalinity is there, the lungs also become alkaline, and it prevents the entry of viruses and bacteria, find it difficult to get in through the lungs. So that I have about 12 people who said that unlike earlier, they used to get frequent attacks of chest infections, coughs and cold, now they don't get. So when there are epidemics of these viral, so actually during the COVID time, if grounding was done, that would have prevented a lot. And they died because it entered, and in the lungs you get the cytokine storm, no? Huge amount of production of pro-inflammatory cytokines. Now, if the body is flooded with antioxidants, free radicals, the free radicals are neutralized, the negatively charged electrons coming from the earth, and that will negate that. Then another reason why they died was they died because of blood clots, especially in the calf muscle region. No clots because the blood is thin. Yeah, then also Dr. Dmitry Yarovnov, I think he's a Russian, 31st October 25 said, the test that outshines cholesterol in flagging your risk of a heart attack or stroke is a highly sensitive CRP test that measures the inflammation in your body. Because for a atheromatous plaque to rupture, there should be inflammation, right? So if you control it, that's why I always ask people who seek my advice whether they are using a mosquito net. So now, so many patients who are suffering from asthma for many years manage to overcome that by getting them to wash it once a week. Whether it looks dirty or not, wash it once a week. Because if you stretch out the surface area of the lung, it is equivalent to the size of a tennis court. So that area is available for the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines, right? And which gets into this thing, and the liver in response produces the CRP. Then I had a, did I say about the kidney disease? No. Yeah, I have a very recently, yes, 75-year-old female diagnosed chronic kidney disease on 6th of September 25. And very recently, actually, I made a kit for her and posted it. She started grounding on 13th of last month. And there is an improvement. There's a drop in the serum creatinine, but I don't know whether it's significant or not, and increase in the GFR. Actually, the creatinine, which was 2.06, dropped to 1.80. GFR went up from 25 to 29. I don't know whether it is very significant, but anyhow, we'll see. She just started grounding, whether that it should help, right? It should help because the blood supply to the kidney is improved, inflammation in the kidney is reduced, and also they have done studies elsewhere, and they have found that creatinine formation is reduced, muscle damage is reduced when you ground, right? Then also two Polish scientists, son and father, they have done studies on grounding, and they said that when you sleep grounded one night, the next day the renal excretion of calcium and phosphorus is reduced, right? So in osteoporosis management, I think that will be a great thing. So what more do you need? Everything, sleep, osteoporosis, joint pain. Then also the heart, just to finally finish it out, now you have the coronary arteries and the cerebral arteries. Now those are the things which worry us most. Now even the coronary arteries and cerebral arteries, they have vasorum, tiny arteries. Now when you ground, they open up. So the entire entity of the coronary artery, the blood supply is improved. Similar for the cerebral artery. So therefore, the chance of getting atheromatous plaques will be less, right? Then one more fact, in 2015, Dr. Rath Matthias and his team at the Maastricht University, they presented in the Netherlands, they presented a paper on heart disease, and from their data, what they said was, animals don't get heart attacks and strokes because no atheroma formation, right? Because they have vitamin C in their bodies. Moment there is a crack or crevice in the artery, collagen is formed, right, which seals off. So therefore, we humans and subhuman primates, if we are insufficient in vitamin C, lipoprotein, too much. Right. 2 minutes, okay. We humans and subhuman primates, if we don't take enough vitamin C, lipoprotein A will come and seal that patch. Now that is life-saving in the short run, but in the long term, that is it goes on accumulating fat and things like that and forms the atheromatous plaque. So in prevention of heart attack and stroke, they recommend taking vitamin C 700 milligrams daily, right? Okay, thank you very much. Sorry if I exceeded the time.
Thank you, sir, for those inspiring words, and we kindly request you to remain still to receive a small token of appreciation.
We cordially invite Professor Samanna Nayakara, Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya, to hand over the token of appreciation to our chief guest, Dr. D.B. Nugegoda.
Thank you very much.
Now is the time to recognize our outstanding undergraduates. The Faculty Award Ceremony 2026.
The University Grants Commission, better known as the UGC, has recognized the importance of building balanced undergraduates in order to engage with tests and tribulations of their professional world ahead of them.
In order to recognize and encourage undergraduates to excel in both academics and extracurricular activities, the UGC has invited the faculties to award the Faculty Award to students who have excelled in these areas.
I would like to warmly invite the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya, Professor Samanna Nayakkara, to present the awards to our outstanding graduates.
Therefore, it is with great pleasure that we invite Professor Induna Nayakkara to the podium to carry on with the proceedings of the Faculty Award ceremony.
Good morning. This Faculty Awards is for the year 2025, and we award it at 3 stages in the undergraduate career, at end of second MB, end of third MB, and final MBBS. And I will read out the names of Faculty Award winners, and I'd like you to come up as the name is read, please. So the Faculty Awards 2025 for 18-19 batch for the final MBBS examination goes to Ms. Tharani Kularatna, Mr. Nadarasa Ganesham, Mr. Sasmitha Vaidyatilaka, Miss Vanisha Lianage, I'm told she's out of the country, so we will give it in absentia. And then Mr. Savin Veeranayaka. I'm sorry, actually I should have said doctor, they are all passed out. Right, so awards for the 1920 batch, third MBBS examination. Third MBBS examination, Ms. Sanduli Sevmini. Ms. Tisari Valavage. Mr. A.M.A.U. Attanayaka. Ms. Enoki De Silva, Mr. Sinhat Mohammed, then faculty awards for the second MBBS examination year 2025. Mr. Dulain Basnayaka, Ms. Janitri Gunasena, Ms. U. Thanasri, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir and madam, and we kindly request you to remain stage for one final award. It is our great pleasure to present Professor K. Jayasena PEMSA UK Pharmacology Award, an accolade in recognition of excellence in pharmacology and awarded to the student with the best performance in the subject this year.
For this award, we now cordially invite Dr. Tilanka Senviratna, the head of the Department of Pharmacology, to acknowledge the achievement of this year's recipient.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pleasure that I announce the Professor K. Jayasena PEMSA UK Pharmacology Award for the year 2026. This is awarded in memory of Professor K. Jayasena, who was a professor of medicine, professor of pharmacology, by his family in collaboration with PEMSA UK for the student who has displayed outstanding performance in pharmacology at third MBBS examination. So this year award goes to Ms. D.K. Ishwai Dasanayaka. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir. Heartiest congratulations to all the award winners.
We now invite Professor Damita Gunawardena from the Department of Community Medicine to introduce the keynote speaker for PeMURS'26.
Chief guest, Dean, Faculty of Medicine, distinguished invitees, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is my distinct privilege and honor to present the citation of Professor Nuwan Darshana Wickramasinghe, Chair Professor of Community Medicine at Faculty of Medicine Allied Health Sciences, Rajarata University of Sri Lanka. He is a board-certified specialist in community medicine and a fellow of Royal Society of Public Health, United Kingdom. Professor Wickramasinghe obtained his primary education qualifications from the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya. His distinguished academic career includes a Master's of Science in Community Medicine from University of Colombo, where he was awarded the Dr. C.H. Piyaratna Memorial Gold Medal for the best overall performance. In addition, he received the award for Best PGIM Student of the Year in the MSc category in 2013. He further completed a Master of Science in Applied Epidemiology at the University of Peradeniya, achieving the highest aggregate GPA for the program in 2014. Thereafter, he completed Doctor of Medicine in Community Medicine from the University of Colombo in 2015, securing first place in the merit list, reflecting consistent academic excellence. He subsequently undertook a 2-year post-MD overseas training program at the prestigious Cambridge Institute of Public Health, United Kingdom, further strengthening his expertise in advanced public health research and practice. Professor Wickramasinghe has made substantial scholarly contributions to public health with more than 160 peer-reviewed publications in high-impact international journals and over 150 scientific abstracts presented at national and international conferences. His research portfolio spans global health, maternal and child health, mental health, and occupational health. His academic impact is reflected in Google Scholar H index of 61 and more than 40,000 citations, and demonstrating significant global influence in public health scholarship. In recognition of his research excellence, the citation impact, he has been listed among the world's top 2% scientists in the Stanford University Elsewhere Science-wide author databases in 2023, 24, and 25 consecutively. He has supervised and mentored a number of undergraduate and postgraduate researchers, contributing significantly to capacity building in public health research. He also serves as an editorial board member of several national and international scientific journals and a peer reviewer for numerous high-impact index journals, contributing to the global scientific review and publication process. Beyond academia, Professor Wickramasinghe has contributed extensively to national and international public health practice. He has played a key role in development of national standards, guidelines, policies in Sri Lanka, particularly in maternal and child health, non-communicable diseases, and health system strengthening. He has served as a consultant to the World Health Organization, including its country officers and the Southeast Asia and Western Pacific regional officers, as well as the other United Nations agencies, where he is recognized as a trusted technical expert. His consultancy work has included technical advisory roles, development and review of strategic reports, program evaluations, strengthening of surveillance and early warning systems, leadership in emergency preparedness and response, and capacity building initiatives to enhance health system resilience and performance at national and regional levels. His work continues to bridge academic excellence and policy impact with sustained contributions to evidence-informed health system development at both national and global level. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and pleasure that I introduce the youngest chair professor in community medicine in Sri Lanka at the moment, Professor Nuwan Darshana Wickramasinghe, as our keynote speaker. Please join me with warmly welcoming him to deliver the keynote address.
Thank you very much, Professor Damita, for that kind introduction. A very good morning to all of you. Vice Chancellor of University of Peradeniya, Chief Guest, Dr. D.B. Nugegoda, the Dean, and all members of the academic staff of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya, my dear teachers, distinguished guests, colleagues, and most importantly, the undergraduate students gathered here today. Firstly, I would like to thank Professor Samidhi Navaratna, the chairperson of the Peradeniya Medical Undergraduate Research Symposium 2026, for inviting me today as the keynote speaker. It is both a privilege and a deeply meaningful moment for me to stand before you at the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya, an institution that shaped not only my medical education, but also my intellectual identity, professional values, and lifelong curiosity. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge what is, for me, a truly full circle moment. Many years ago, I sat where you are today, a medical undergraduate at the Faculty of Medicine, uncertain about what my career would lead. My journey then took me to the Faculty of Medicine and Allied Sciences, Rajarata University of Sri Lanka, where I began my academic career. The chief guest of today's symposium, dear Nugegoda sir, was the first head of department under whom I worked as a young academic, who provided guidance and mentorship during my formative years. Life then brought me back to Peradeniya, this time as a registrar in community medicine, where I received postgraduate training that shaped my thinking as a researcher and a public health specialist. Today, I return once again to this faculty as a keynote speaker at the Peradeniya Medical Undergraduate Research Symposium. This is truly a full circle moment. It reminds me that academic journeys are rarely linear. The lecture halls, mentors, colleagues, and opportunities that seem ordinary today may become defining influences on your future. The research you are working on now, the questions you are asking, and the experiences you are gaining may open doors that you cannot yet imagine. And that is exactly what I wish to speak about today. The continuum from curiosity to evidence and impact. Because most meaningful contributions to medicine and public health do not begin with sophisticated laboratories, advanced technology, or prestigious publications. They begin with questions. Why is this happening? Why are some communities disproportionately affected? Why do inequities persist despite available healthcare systems? Why do certain interventions succeed while others fail? What can we do differently? Curiosity is one of the most powerful yet undervalued forces in medicine and science. In medicine, curiosity is not merely intellectual interest. It is a professional responsibility. Curiosity drives clinicians to look beyond symptoms, researchers to challenge assumptions, public health professionals to look beyond statistics, and also health systems to evolve. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. Without curiosity, medicine becomes mechanical. Research becomes repetitive. Public health loses its humanity. When we stop asking why, our work lacks true meaning. Throughout my career, I have realized that almost every meaningful research question I pursued emerged from real-world observations, not from textbooks, not from examination notes, but from communities, clinics, hospitals, and conversations. These observations later evolved into structured research questions. These research questions become studies. These studies become evidence. And eventually, that evidence contributes to discussions on policy, programs, and health system strengthening. For instance, during my early career, while providing maternal and child health services in our field practice area in rural Anuradhapura, we identified the need to explore the magnitude of maternal morbidity in that area, particularly given the relatively underdeveloped maternal morbidity surveillance system that existed in the country at that time. I was extremely fortunate to be part of a team led by Professor Sunetha Gampodi and Professor Tilniya Gampodi, who have been truly inspirational mentors to me. In this maternal morbidity project, we started with very simple research questions based on what we observed in the community, examining common maternal morbidities such as minor ailments, anemia, gestational diabetes, and mental health issues. What began as simple research questions ultimately contributed to the development of foundational evidence on the magnitude of maternal morbidity in rural communities. The studies in this project demonstrated that the risk factor screening approach in the National Antenatal Program missed nearly 39% of gestational diabetes mellitus cases, supporting a more inclusive, evidence-based screening strategy. Further evidence showed that the true prevalence of maternal anemia was lower than the national estimates and also highlighted limitations in existing screening methods, informing improvements in routine screening practices. We also demonstrated a substantial burden of common maternal illnesses during pregnancy, with significant impact on healthcare utilization, informing capacity building for frontline health workers. We also produced early evidence of a high burden of postpartum depression among Sri Lankan mothers, supporting integration of mental health screening into routine maternal care. These initial involvements in research on maternal and child health not only enabled me to undertake further related collaborative research, local, regional, and global levels later in my career, but also provided valuable opportunities to serve as a consultant for international organizations. These experiences reinforced an important lesson. Careers rarely progress through isolated events. They evolve through a continuum of interconnected opportunities, learning, and growth. When talking about the opportunities, I wish to emphasize something important to the students gathered here today. None of these opportunities appear suddenly. They emerge gradually through years of consistent effort, curiosity, collaboration, and perseverance. The opportunities you see are the harvest of a long cultivation. Let me share with you another personal experience. Almost a decade ago, soon after completing my MD, I had an opportunity with the WHO Southeast Asia Regional Office to analyze and prepare the expanded program on immunization coverage evaluation survey in Timor-Leste. To be honest, at that time, I knew very little about how such complex analysis should be conducted, and even less about Timor-Leste itself. However, I decided to accept the challenge. It required me to learn new analytical methods, understand a new country context, and work far beyond my comfort zone. Many years later, when the WHO Timor-Leste country office was seeking an international consultant to design and implement the National Coverage Evaluation Survey of the EPI in 2023, I was once again approached through WHO. This time, the responsibility extended far beyond data analysis and report writing. I was expected to lead the entire process from survey design and protocol development to field implementation, data quality assurance, analysis, and dissemination. It was a complex task with multiple interconnected components requiring meticulous attention. Although I was a public health specialist, I still had much to learn. I had to quickly understand the local health system, work in a multicultural international setting, coordinate with different stakeholders, train non-English speaking data collectors, and ensure data quality throughout. Each challenge required new skills, flexibility, and continuous learning. The survey was successfully completed and produced national representative evidence that informed program planning and decision making. More importantly, the experience reinforced a lesson. Opportunities do not always arrive when we feel fully prepared. Sometimes they arrive precisely to help us grow. Had I waited in the first instance until I felt completely ready, I would probably have missed one of the most formative experiences of my professional career. The opportunities allow us to apply the continuum: observation, questioning, inquiry, evidence generation, translation into action, and impact. This continuum applies not only to public health, but equally to clinical medicine. A clinician observing unusual disease patterns may identify emerging infections. A pediatrician noticing developmental trends may contribute to early intervention models. A psychiatrist recognizing social stressors may transform mental health approaches. A surgeon identifying disparities in outcomes may improve quality of care systems. Every discipline in medicine contains opportunities for inquiry. Let me share my experience in public health research. During my postgraduate research, I faced a critical challenge in selecting an appropriate topic for my MD. At that time, burnout had not yet been extensively explored in the local context. And I was both curious as well as fascinated by the concept of student burnout. However, I encountered an initial limitation. Given the novelty of the subject in the local academic setting, there were no validated instruments available to identify burnout. As a result, I had to validate the most widely used tool, the Maslach burnout inventory. In addition to validation, I faced the further challenge of developing culturally adapted clinical cutoff values for the assessment of burnout in this context. Later, based on the validated and culturally adapted tool, I aim to assess both the magnitude of burnout and its associated factors among advanced level students. Given the established association of burnout with its positive aspect of work engagement, I wanted to explore the interconnected determinants of well-being and to contribute towards a more promotive mental health approach among students. This evidence generation was subsequently disseminated not only through publications, but also through orations. Importantly, the evidence needed to be translated into action. I was fortunate to be associated with the School and Adolescent Health Unit of the Family Health Bureau, the national level focal point. Through this platform, I had the opportunity to contribute to the development of educational interventions to promote psychosocial well-being among school children. In addition, this work contributed further to scholarly outputs, including handbook development and guideline preparation in the same area, thereby strengthening the translation of evidence into policy and practice. As I reflect on this journey from research to policy and practice, I realized that it all began with a simple question and the curiosity to pursue it. When we talk about such research experiences, one of the misconceptions among undergraduate students is a belief that research begins after postgraduate training. That is not true. Research begins the moment you start asking meaningful questions. Your undergraduate years are perhaps the most fertile period for intellectual exploration because your thinking is not yet restricted by professional silos and rigid assumptions. At this stage, you still possess something extremely valuable, the ability to wonder. Protect that ability. Because over time, many professionals lose curiosity under the pressure of service delivery, administrative burdens, examinations, and career competition. The students who eventually make meaningful contributions are not necessarily those who always score the highest grades. Often, they are the students who remain intellectually engaged. The students who observe carefully. The students who continue asking, could this be improved? I still remember some of my earliest research experiences. They were not glamorous. Resources were limited. Statistical analysis was intimidating. Manuscript writing was frustrating. Conference presentations were stressful. Rejections were common. Those experiences are important because young researchers often only see the final achievements and not the process behind them. Remember, the process matters. The difficult stages matter. The revisions matter. The failures matter. Because scientific maturity is built through those experiences. And this is important for young researchers to understand. Research is rarely a linear journey. Academic careers are often portrayed through achievements, publications, citations, awards, fellowships, but behind every visible achievement are years of uncertainty, failures, revisions, criticism, and also perseverance. Behind every accepted paper are rejected manuscripts. Behind every successful grant are unsuccessful applications. Behind every confident speaker are moments of self-doubt. One of the most important qualities in research is not brilliance, it is persistence. In medicine and public health, uncertainty is unavoidable. Complex health problems rarely have simple solutions. That is why methodological rigor becomes essential. Curiosity is alone insufficient. Questions must be systematically transformed into scientifically valid inquiry. This is where methodology becomes powerful. Methodology is not merely a technical requirement for passing examinations or completing dissertations. Methodology is the bridge between observation and credible evidence. A poorly designed study may produce misleading conclusions regardless of how interesting the original question was. A strong methodology allows observations to become measurable, interpretable, reproducible, and actionable. As young researchers, you must appreciate that scientific integrity matters deeply. In today's world, information is abundant, evidence is not. Social media can spread opinions rapidly, but evidence requires rigor. And in healthcare, decisions influence human lives. Scientific integrity is a bridge to credible evidence and responsible practice. In the same vein, ethical responsibility in research is fundamental. Research is not only about publications. It is about accountability to patients, communities, and society. Ethical accountability in research ensures public trust and societal well-being. As mentioned earlier, evidence generation is not the end point. Research that remains confined within journals without translation into policy, programs, clinical practice, or community benefit has limited societal value. True impact occurs when knowledge improves lives. One of the most rewarding moments in my professional journey was realizing that research can genuinely influence systems and communities. For example, our work related to maternal and child health contributed to broader discussions on program implementation and policy review in Sri Lanka. Similarly, consultancies conducted with WHO and UNICEF demonstrated how evidence generated by researchers can support national and regional decision-making. As academics, we sometimes become overly focused on publications and metrics. But ultimately, the true purpose of evidence generation is societal benefit. A paper becomes meaningful when it contributes to better decisions, better systems, and better outcomes for people. To elaborate on my personal experience in maternal and child health research, the next major project I would like to share is a Rajarata Pregnancy Cohort, or RAPCO, conducted from 2019 to 2022. Over the years, we noted several critical gaps in local maternal health-related evidence base. To address these gaps, we established and followed up a cohort of pregnant women through RAPCO to generate comprehensive evidence on these aspects. This project not only generated robust evidence, but also targeted policy implications, community empowerment, and capacity building at multiple levels. The Rajarata Pregnancy Cohort is one of the largest pregnancy cohorts, not only in Sri Lanka, but also in the region, headed by Professor Tilniya Gampodi. Given its longitudinal nature, it provided robust evidence on maternal health, pregnancy outcomes, and related social, economic, and clinical determinants. The cohort allowed for a deeper understanding of risk factors for maternal morbidity and mortality, the impact of non-communicable diseases during pregnancy. The studies demonstrated that the maternal mental health screening in early pregnancy identified substantial anxiety-related morbidity and also gaps in detection and referral, leading to integration of routine mental health care into antenatal services. Social autopsy of maternal deaths showed that most were driven by interacting social determinants, causing delayed care seeking, highlighting the need for a more socially responsive health system. Anemia studies in pregnancy informed national revision of hemoglobin cutoff values by showing overestimation with previous thresholds used and highlighting the multifaceted nature, supporting more accurate diagnosis and targeted interventions. Economic burden studies showed substantial out-of-pocket expenditure despite free maternal services, highlighting the need to improve equity and utilization of free healthcare services. Further studies revealed a higher than reported burden of adolescent pregnancy at district level, highlighting the gaps between national statistics and the local reality, and also the need to strengthen adolescent and sexual and reproductive health services. In addition to the previously discussed papers, other maternal morbidities were also assessed, generating initial as well as area-specific evidence on renal function, cortisol levels, and asthma during pregnancy, providing a more comprehensive understanding of maternal health in the area. As highlighted, the studies mentioned above were not limited to evidence generation alone. They were actively translated into policy and, in some cases, incorporated to improve service delivery. We worked closely with public health service providers at national, provincial, and local levels, as well as with policymakers, ensuring the evidence generated informed policy changes and strengthened maternal and child health programs. Furthermore, we used context-specific evidence to guide the capacity development of public health staff in the area, ensuring that training and skill development were tailored to the local needs and challenges identified through our research. One of the most important highlights of RAPCO was its focus on social service and community empowerment, going beyond evidence generation. During COVID-19, our data showed that pregnant women were facing financial difficulties, prompting us to initiate a financial assistance scheme. We also developed 2 handbooks for mothers, consolidating the evidence generated on common maternal ailments and health-seeking behaviors as part of our commitment to societal responsibility. Not only my experience in evidence generation and translation into action, but I also had the opportunity to serve as a WHO consultant in several maternal and child health policy reviews in Sri Lanka. For instance, I served as a WHO consultant to conduct the desk review of the maternal and child health policy in Sri Lanka, and also to review the National Strategic Plan on Adolescent and Youth Health. I also got the opportunity to conduct the review on Sri Lankan adolescent health and school health programs as an assignment with the WHO Southeast Asia Regional Office. Why I am highlighting this is that my earlier field experience has immensely contributed to my engagement in this consultative work. This progression clearly illustrates how each step in the continuum builds on previous experience, creating a seamless pathway from field work to national and regional policy engagement. When we look across this continuum, the impact of such work can be seen operating at multiple levels. Sometimes impact is global and regional, contributing to international evidence and collaborations. Sometimes impact is national, influencing guidelines and policies. Sometimes the impact is local, improving care within a single hospital or community. What I have learned over the years is that experience in creating local impact would help you to go further nationally, regionally, and globally. In today's context, we must also recognize the importance of interdisciplinary collaboration. Modern health challenges are increasingly complex. Non-communicable diseases, mental health, aging populations, climate-sensitive health threats, pandemic preparedness, health inequities, none of these can be solved by isolated disciplines. Medicine today requires integration. Health systems thinking requires collaboration beyond traditional boundaries. During my career, interdisciplinary collaboration has been one of the greatest sources for me to learn. Some of my most meaningful publications were developed through collaborations involving clinicians, epidemiologists, behavioral scientists, anthropologists, statisticians, global health researchers, and public health practitioners. Modern research is increasingly collaborative. No individual can master every domain. Therefore, one of the most important skills for future researchers is the ability to work respectfully and effectively within teams. Science progresses faster when knowledge is shared rather than guarded. One of the greatest strengths of medicine is that it connects science with humanity. You are not simply learning pathology, pharmacology, or epidemiology. You are learning how human lives are shaped by biological, social, economic, cultural, and environmental factors. This broader understanding is essential for meaningful impact. Over the years, my own academic journey evolved through multiple interconnected pathways: teaching, research, mentorship, consultancies, and policy engagement. Initially, when I was young, I viewed these as separate domains. But later I realized they are deeply interconnected. Teaching generates questions. Research generates evidence. Consultancy applies evidence. Policy creates system-level change. And mentorship sustains future generations. One of the most rewarding aspects of academia has been mentorship. Publications and awards are meaningful, but witnessing students evolve into independent thinkers, researchers, clinicians, and leaders is perhaps even more fulfilling. Because knowledge becomes truly powerful only when it is transferred. A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. As a teacher and a supervisor, one of the greatest satisfactions comes from observing students evolve beyond dependence and begin thinking independently. Many undergraduate students underestimate their own potential. I have seen students who initially doubted themselves, but later publish important research, pursue postgraduate training, and become confident professionals contributing meaningfully to healthcare and academia. Sometimes, all they required was encouragement, guidance, and someone who believed in their potential. That is why mentorship matters deeply in medicine. I still remember my research supervisors who influenced and shaped my journey. Ranjan sir, Devini madam, Gihan sir, Samath sir, Sunet sir, Ayesha madam, Professor Tina, everyone. Sometimes through formal supervision, and sometimes simply through small acts of encouragement. Young researchers often underestimate themselves. They believe meaningful research can only be conducted in prestigious institutions with unlimited resources. But some of the most impactful questions emerge from resource-limited settings. I completed much of my early research work in settings with limited resources, heavy teaching responsibilities, and administrative challenges. Yet, some of the strongest research questions emerge precisely because of those realities. Resource limitations should not discourage scientific thinking. Therefore, never allow limitations to suppress inquiry. At this point, I would like to especially address the undergraduate students present here. Do not wait for the perfect time to begin. There's no perfect time. Start with small questions. Participate in projects. Learn methodology. Read critically. Write consistently. Present your work. Accept criticism. Revise repeatedly. Research skills are developed through practice, not observation. Another important lesson I learned is the importance of intellectual humility. The more knowledge we gain, the more we realize the limits of our understanding. In medicine, certainty is often temporary. Evidence evolves, guidelines change, health priorities shift. Therefore, humility is essential. Humility allows learning. It allows collaboration. It allows correction. A good researcher is not someone who believes they are always correct. A good researcher is someone willing to continuously refine understanding in light of better evidence. And importantly, science depends on trust. Trust is built through integrity, transparency, and ethical conduct. As future medical professionals, your credibility will become one of your greatest assets. Protect it carefully. It will lead you to a chain of endless opportunities. Let me share another small experience. In 2021, I had the opportunity to serve as a WHO consultant for Myanmar, reviewing influenza-related documents and providing technical support to strengthen pandemic influenza preparedness in Myanmar. Based on this work and based on this recommendation, I had the opportunity to be a team member of data management training on influenza in the Southeast Asia region as a last-minute replacement. Following the success of this first training program, I was subsequently invited to serve as a core team member of the same initiative in the subsequent years as well. Later, this work led to my role as an expert team member in the joint national and international influenza sentinel site surveillance in Indonesia. These opportunities further enabled me to contribute at the global level guideline development of influenza surveillance. Taken together, these experiences illustrate how one engagement naturally led to another over time, building a continuum of growing responsibility and impact. However, when we reflect on such experiences, it is important to contrast them with how many of us perceive success today. Today, many students aspire toward rapid recognition, publications, metrics, and social media visibility. While achievements are important, meaningful careers are built over decades, not months. Sustained impact requires consistency. There's a Japanese concept known as Kaizen, continuous improvement through small, consistent steps. That principle applies beautifully to academic as well as professional development. Small daily efforts accumulate into long-term excellence. Read one paper, learn one concept, improve one skill, ask one better question. Over time, these incremental steps transform careers. People sometimes view recognition as isolated achievements, but in reality, they are simply the cumulative result of many years of consistent incremental work. Reading, writing, reviewing, teaching, mentoring, learning, and continuing despite setbacks. Excellence is rarely sudden. It is usually accumulated gradually through disciplined consistency. I would also encourage you to remain balanced between ambition and well-being. Medicine and academia can become overwhelming. Burnout among students and professionals is increasingly recognized globally, and it is something I have personally researched as well. Achievements should never come at the complete expense of mental well-being, relationships, or personal values. A sustainable career requires resilience, reflection, and balance. Remember, your value as a human being is greater than your CV. Professional success is meaningful, but integrity, compassion, empathy, and humility define true professionalism. Medicine offers extraordinary diverse pathways: clinical practice, public health, research, health policy, global health, medical education, health system strengthening. Your career does not need to follow a predefined template. Allow your curiosity to guide your exploration. At the same time, remain grounded in service. Ultimately, medicine is not about prestige. It is about improving human lives. Whether you become a clinician, surgeon, epidemiologist, academic, or policymaker, the central purpose remains the same: to reduce suffering and improve well-being. The continuum from curiosity to evidence and impact is therefore not merely an academic framework. It is a professional philosophy, a way of approaching medicine with inquiry, rigor, compassion, and responsibility. As I stand here today, I also recognize the importance of gratitude. Gratitude to supervisors and teachers who guided us. Gratitude to seniors who showed us the path. Gratitude to colleagues who collaborated with us. Gratitude to students who challenged us to continue learning. Gratitude to communities who trusted us during research and field work. No meaningful academic journey is built alone. Every achievement reflects the contributions of many others along the way. And therefore, humility and gratitude must remain central to professional life. Before I conclude, I would like to leave you with a final reflection. There will be moments in your careers when progress feels slow, moments when manuscripts are rejected, moments when projects fail, moments when opportunities are lost, moments when self-doubt becomes overwhelming. During these moments, remember this: every meaningful contribution to medicine once began as uncertainty. Every researcher was once a beginner. Every expert once struggled with basics. Every impactful idea once appeared small. Do not underestimate the long-term power of sustained curiosity and consistent effort. And finally, I would like to share a quote that has always resonated deeply with me. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. To all young medical undergraduates gathered here today, your questions matter. Your observations matter. Your ideas matter. The future of medicine will be shaped by individuals who remain curious enough to ask difficult questions, disciplined enough to generate reliable evidence, and compassionate enough to ensure that evidence improves lives. I hope many of you will continue this continuum, from curiosity to evidence to impact. Finally, as they say, a man's mind, once stretched by a new idea, will never regain its original dimensions. Thank you very much.
It was an extremely thought-provoking speech. I'm sure that all of those present here today have gained much from hearing those words of wisdom. Thank you, sir. We kindly request you to join us again to receive a small token of appreciation.
We cordially invite Professor Samidhi Navaratna, the symposium chairperson and the head of the Department of Community Medicine, to hand over the token of appreciation to the keynote speaker for PeMURS' 2026, Professor Nuwan Wickramasinghe.
Thank you very much, sir and madam.
As mentioned in the beginning of today's inauguration, PeMURS is a venture to facilitate, nurture, and inspire research in the minds of students. This event could not have been possible without the joint effort of the staff and students of this faculty.
Therefore, I now invite the student chairperson of PeMURS' 26, Mr. Minura Kulasekara, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Prabhat. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Chief guest, Dr. D.B. Nugegoda, our keynote speaker, Professor Nuwan Vikramasinghe, the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, Professor Saman Nayanakara, our symposium chairperson, Professor Samidhi Navaratna, our renowned academic staff, and my dear colleagues. It gives me immense pleasure to address everyone gathered here today as the student chairperson of PeMURS'26. And speaking on behalf of all the undergraduates here, as undergraduates, we often see research as an obstacle that we need to pass. Sometimes we think of it as an exam in the mere long list of exams here at the medical faculty in our 5 years. But I hope that this year's theme, from curiosity to clinical impact, inspiring the next generation of researchers, innovators, and healthcare leaders, will encourage and inspire us to look beyond this perspective. Why do I say so? Because today, we practice a discipline called evidence-based medicine. And a key component of evidence-based medicine is the best available scientific research evidence. And this branch continues to shape and better the decisions we make as clinicians and the quality of care we provide. So as the future doctors and clinicians, and possibly the future researchers, the future innovators, and future research healthcare leaders, if our goal is to provide the best for our patients, then why don't we stop seeing our research and our day-to-day clinicals that we do as, why don't we stop seeing them as separate entities? But rather, why don't we see that they are all interconnected? That the questions that we base our researches on are things that we see from our clinicals. And that every meaningful research that we might be able to do will contribute to better the quality of care that we provide as patients. And isn't that part of the Hippocratic oath that we will take as future doctors? So I hope that perhaps one day a single student in this lecture hall may do a meaningful research that will possibly change the way that we diagnose, treat, or prevent a disease. That is why I hope as undergraduates, we shift our perspective of research from an examination point of view to a point of view where we perceive research as a tool that, when responsibly utilized, can optimize our patient care. And with that, I hope that today's symposium inspires many of us to be curious enough to question, as our keynote speaker said, and determined enough to seek answers that will hopefully make a meaningful impact on our healthcare. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Every successful gathering is made possible through the collective efforts of many individuals. Before we conclude the inauguration session, I would like to cordially invite the Symposium Secretary of PeMURS'26, Dr. Lakshika Patirana, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Our chief guest today, the retired chair professor of community medicine, Dr. D.B. Nugegoda. The keynote speaker, Professor Nuwan Vikramasinghe, chair professor of community medicine, Department of Community Medicine, Faculty of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences, Rajarata University of Sri Lanka. The Vice Chancellor of the University of Peradeniya, Professor Terence Madhuji. The Deputy Vice Chancellor, the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, Professor Saman Nayanakara, Deans of the other representative faculties, President KSM, Dr. Adisena Nayaka, President PEMSA, Professor Indu Nayanakara, all the special invitees of University of Peradeniya, academic and extended academic staff members, non-academic staff members, the executive committee and the student committee of PeMURS'26 students are the distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. An event of this nature is the result of collective effort of many dedicated individuals. At the same time, its success is greatly enriched by the presence of and support of the distinguished guests who honor us with their attendance. I would like to take a few minutes of your time to propose the vote of thanks and to appreciate the many individuals and groups who contributed to the success of the inaugural Peradeniya Medical Undergraduate Research Symposium 2026 of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya. First and foremost, I would like to thank our chief guest, the retired Chair Professor of Community Medicine, Department of Community Medicine, Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya, Dr. D.B. Nugegoda, for gracing our inaugural ceremony and for your very interesting and inspiring address. It means a lot to us, sir. I'm sure that your word would have arisen curiosity and enthusiasm in our students and inspired them in their research journey. I would also like to extend our sincere gratitude to Professor Nuwan Darshana Wickramasinghe, Chair Professor of Community Medicine, Department of Community Medicine, Faculty of Medicine and Allied Sciences, Rajarata University of Sri Lanka, the keynote speaker of today's occasion. Sir, we greatly appreciate your kindness and honoring our invitation amid your many commitments. I'm sure your speech has sparked curiosity in the minds of these budding researchers and providing invaluable insights into the world of research. We are very grateful to you, Sir Professor Terence Madhaji. Sir is not at the moment, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Peradeniya. Thank you for accepting our invitation and joining us today despite your extreme busy schedule, especially today. Even though you had to leave early due to other official commitments, your presence was such a great strength and encouragement to us. Professor Saman Sen Nanakara, Dean, Faculty of Medicine, we greatly appreciate your insightful guidance, immense support, and unwavering encouragement throughout this event, as well as your gracious presence today. Thank you, dear sir. Without your support, this event would have not been possible. To the Deans of the Management, Allied Health Sciences and Veterinary Sciences faculties of University of Peradeniya, thank you so much for accepting our invitation and being present here today. We would also like to extend our sincere appreciation to the Registrar and the Bursar of University of Peradeniya for your support and encouragement towards this event. To all the special invitees of the University of Peradeniya, heads of the departments, the academic staff members, thank you for being us with this on this special occasion today. A very special note of gratitude goes to the Department of Community Medicine, Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya, especially the head of the department and all the academic staff of the Department of Community Medicine. This symposium would not have been a reality without your dedication and commitment from the initiating undergraduate research projects, guiding and supervising students throughout their research journey, and providing continuous support and mentorship. Your contribution has been the foundation upon which PeMURS'26 was built. We are deeply grateful for your vision, effort, and unwavering commitment to nurturing research among medical undergraduates. Thank you. Our most heartfelt gratitude goes to the Executive Committee of PeMURS'26. The symposium chair was the driving force behind the success of this event, Professor Samedi Navaratna, who initiated this event with its original concept and guided them with excellent leadership, while joyfully yet lovingly pushing us all towards the completion. We thank you sincerely for your tireless work, dedication, and commitment.
My heartfelt thanks also goes to Dr. S. Krishna Pradeep, Treasurer of PeMURS'26, for excellent management of the financial aspect of the event. As saying goes, teamwork makes the dream work. The Student Executive Committee worked side by side with the Academic Executive Committee towards the accomplishment of the event. We are extremely grateful and proud of you all. The Student Chair, Mr. Minru Kulasekara, together with the Student Secretary, Ms. Themia Jinadasa, and the Junior Treasurer, Mr. Prabhat Veerasinghe, led them exceptionally well and proved that we have remarkable students among us. The subcommittees led by Mr. Disara Jayaratne and Mr. Odita Vijay Ratna of the Scientific Subcommittee, Ms. Numayaka Naika and Mr. Malit Madhurandika of the Editorial Subcommittee, Mr. Radin Jalat and Mr. Senuranga Shanaka of Editorial Subcommittee, Ms. Mahashi Mahaulpata and Ms. Prashani Fernando of Logistics Subcommittee, Mr. Hasala Karindra of Media and IT Subcommittee, Mr. Vishwajit Gunaratna and Ms. Binari Guruge of Food and Beverages Subcommittee, Ms. Delini Bandanayaka of Financial and Registration Subcommittee, Ms. Umaya Godakumbra and Ms. Hiruni Vitanage of Social Subcommittee. I wish to convey warm wishes and sincere gratitude for your outstanding work in organizing this event. Our sincere appreciation goes to the Dean's Office staff for assisting us in every possible way, and and the staff of Technical Resource Centers, the head and staff of A-Library, the heads and staff of the Medical Education Unit and the Curriculum Coordination Committee, and all other non-academic staff members for their continuous support throughout. A special note of thanks goes to Ms. Delini Herat, Senior Assistant Registrar of the Faculty of Medicine, and Ms. Menaka Jayaratna, Deputy Boss of the Faculty of Medicine, and their staff for their assistance with administrative and financial matters. The Symposium Committee is grateful to the Kensington Society of Medicine for their contribution towards the research prize. To all the supervisors, abstract reviewers, and the judges of at the scientific session. We greatly appreciate a valuable contribution to the symposium. Thank you, dear sirs and madams. Our heartfelt gratitude also goes to our talented compeers and the cultural groups who added color and vibrancy to this with their exceptional performances. I would also like to extend my sincere gratitude to the cleaning staff of the faculty. I would be failing my duty if I did not thank all our energetic temporary lecturers and the research assistants who took on countless responsibilities to make this event a reality. Thank you very much for your support and dedication. There were many individuals who contributed in numerous ways to make this endeavor a success. We deeply appreciate each and every one of them, even if I have failed to mention you individually. Finally, dear students, this symposium was organized for you, and it is a valuable platform to present your research, share your ideas, and learn from one another. We thank you all for your enthusiastic preparation, participation, and hope you gain the maximum benefit from the scientific session from this moment onwards. Now we have come to the end of the inaugural session, PeMURS'26. I invite you all to enjoy the next segment of the symposium, which is packed with exciting research presentation covering a wide range of topics. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a kind reminder that the oral presentations of PeMURS'26 will start at sharp 11:15, and the social evening of PeMURS' Celeste 26 will be held today, 6:30 p.m. onwards, at the arcade premises in the Paraclinical building near the Community Medicine Department of Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya.
We assure you that this evening is going to be a fun-filled event with entertaining games, songs, food stalls, and yes, a DJ floor. Don't miss out on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, in order to conclude the inauguration ceremony of PeMURS'26, please rise for the pride of our nation, the national anthem.